My name is Daniel. I live just outside of Chicago, and this is my story. I grew up in a household that never really felt like a safe place. From the outside, my family probably looked ordinary enough. My father, a mother, and a son. But inside those walls, there was a constant tension that you could cut with a knife. My father believed he was the king of the castle, but he said went, and no one, not my mother, not me, not anyone, was allowed to challenge that. He was stern, controlling, and his moves could flip in an instant. He could be caring in his own way, but that care always came packaged with control. My mother was the opposite in some ways. She's naturally kind, and if you meet her for the first time, she comes across as warm, gentle, and polite. But beneath that softness is a weakness I've never been able to forgive. She has always been a doormat, for my father especially, but also for anyone who pushes hard enough. She avoids conflict like the plague, even if that means siding with the person who's in the wrong. As a kid, that meant she rarely defended me when I needed her the most. To give you an example of just how deep her passivity goes, when I was a teenager, I discovered something horrifying on my dad's computer, CP. I confronted her about it. I was scared, I was disgusted, and I didn't know what to do. And do you know what she did? She told me not to rock the boat. She chose to side with him because keeping him calm was easier than standing up for me. That moment changed how I saw both of them forever. For years, I tried to manage this relationship the way kids of controlling parents often do. I tried to keep the peace, I tried to set small boundaries here and there, I tried to create distance. But no matter how old I got, no matter how independent I became, my dad always found a way to push back into my life. My mom, as usual, would stand behind him, wringing her hands, whispering things like, "It's okay, don't make him upset, everything will be fine." Eventually, I hit a breaking point. I went no contact with both of them for about a year. It wasn't easy, but it was necessary. I needed space to breathe, space to live my life without their chaos. For that year, I had quiet. I didn't have my dad's booming voice demanding things from me. I didn't have my mom's nervous calls asking me to forgive him. I could finally hear myself think. But time passed, and against my better judgment, I let them back in. A little. We patched things up just enough to be polite. Our relationship became shallow, surface level. No big arguments, but no real closeness either. I told myself that was okay. I told myself it was better than the constant battles. Then they decided to visit from Portugal, where they had retired. They stayed with some friends at first, but my dad managed to get into a fight there too. He thought he was doing too much work around their house compared to the wife of his friend, and instead of letting it go, he blew up. Suddenly, he and my mom were asking if they could crash at my place. I hesitated, but I agreed. My dad tried, in his own way, to make it seem like he was being considerate. He asked me over and over if it was okay if he bought a mattress for the guest bedroom. He didn't want to impose, he said. He wanted to make sure it was fine with me. For a moment, I thought maybe, just maybe, he was learning to respect boundaries. But that illusion didn't last long. Almost immediately, the old patterns came back. My dad started offering help. At first, that sounds nice, right? Who doesn't want help when they're moving? But the thing is, I told him no. I didn't want his help moving furniture. I preferred to do it myself. I thanked him politely, but I declined. And then I declined again and again and again. He just wouldn't stop. He kept asking over and over, minutes apart, as if my no was just an obstacle for him to wear down. Then came the gifts. One day, a package arrived. I opened it, and inside was a brand new $1,000 phone. I hadn't asked for it. I didn't want it. I didn't need it. He never mentioned it until it showed up. I told him I didn't feel comfortable accepting it, but he brushed me off. Next, he started ordering furniture for the guest bedroom without asking. Remember how careful he was about the mattress? That was out the window. Suddenly, he was just making decisions for my house, my space, as if I didn't exist. He'd ask if I wanted food. I'd say no. He'd bring it anyway. He'd order a meal, push part of his plate at me, and then demand that I eat it. He even bought me a smoker, then returned it because he could tell I wasn't falling in line with his avalanche of gifts. It wasn't generosity, it was control, disguised as generosity. And every time I pushed back, I could feel his passive-aggressive disappointment radiating off of him. By this point, I was exhausted, but I kept going. I told myself, just get through this visit. Things seemed okay one particular Tuesday. My girlfriend had offered to cook a nice dinner for all of us. My parents were enthusiastic. They kept talking about how good the pasta sauce smelled. For a few hours, it felt almost normal. While the sauce simmered, my girlfriend and I decided to take a quick walk. When we came back, my parents were standing at the door. My dad looked at me and said they were heading out. My mom's eyes were full of tears. She looked at me and sputtered, "Everything is going to be okay." My stomach dropped. Something was off. I asked her if I'd see her again before they went back to Portugal, and her answer was, "You're young, you can do whatever you want." I was stunned. What the hell was that supposed to mean? It slowly dawned on me they weren't just heading out for the night, they were leaving. Leaving. My dad, in classic fashion, had gotten offended over something, God knows what this time, and instead of talking about it, he decided to make a scene by walking out. My mother, as always, followed, crying but unwilling to do anything else. The worst part? They were trying to Irish goodbye us while my girlfriend was cooking them dinner. She was chopping vegetables, stirring pasta, putting effort into making them feel welcome in our home, and they decided to slip out without a word. My girlfriend was furious. She felt disrespected, insulted, and honestly, she was right. Me, I wasn't surprised. Hurt, yes. Frustrated, definitely, but not surprised, because this is how it has always been with them. My dad's feelings get hurt over nothing. He makes a dramatic exit, and my mom clings to him while whispering empty reassurances. And that was it. That's how their visit ended. I love to say I got closure, or that I confronted them, or that we had a big conversation that cleared the air. But the truth is, I didn't. I don't want to hear his excuses. I don't want to hear her apologies. I don't want to keep playing this game where my boundaries don't matter, my feelings don't matter, and the only thing that matters is keeping him comfortable. What I do want is perspective. Because this whole pattern, the obsessive giving, the suffocating generosity that feels more like control than kindness, is messing with my head. On the surface, it makes me feel ungrateful. People hear, "My dad bought me $1,000 phone and I didn't want it," and they roll their eyes. But it's not about the phone. It's about how he uses gifts to bulldoze boundaries, how he refuses to take no for an answer, and how he demands gratitude while ignoring the simplest respect. I've been reflecting a lot on how enmeshed I was with my mom growing up, how unhealthy it was that she leaned on me emotionally instead of protecting me. I've been untangling these knots for years, and every time I think I've made progress, something like this happens and reminds me how deep it all runs. So, that's my story. That's the chaos I grew up with, the chaos that follows me even now as an adult. Maybe some of you out there know what it's like to have parents who smother you with kindness you never asked for, who make generosity feel like a trap. If you do, you know how exhausting it is. Me, I'm still figuring it out.